Parents, family, friends, and honored guests, please rise to welcome Gallatin's graduating class of 2023. Welcome, everyone. You may all be seated. It is now my great pleasure to welcome Dean Victoria Rosner to the podium.
President Hamilton, Mr. DeShields, distinguished faculty, honored guests, families, and friends, it is my privilege to welcome you to the graduation exercises for the NYU Gallatin School of Individualized Study. Andrew Hamilton became the 16th president of NYU in 2016. Under his leadership, the university has achieved unprecedented success. Applications for first-year admission have grown by a staggering 40%, and the university has welcomed the most selective and diverse entering class in its history. At the same time, spending on research, a key marker of institutional excellence, has increased faster than at any other US college or university. President Hamilton has achieved all of this while finding ways to control the cost of an NYU education to make NYU more accessible to students who want to join our academic community. He did all of this while maintaining an active research laboratory and continuing his work as an award-winning, highly published chemist. President Hamilton has also been a tremendous supporter of Gallatin and oversaw the transformational growth in our faculty in partnership with Dean Suzanne Wofford. He also supported key initiatives at Gallatin, including our Governor's Island Art Science Building and our Science, Technology, Arts, and Creativity Initiative, a groundbreaking program aimed at fostering interdisciplinary engagements at the intersection of science, technology, arts, and the humanities. Andy Hamilton is also the president who brought me to Gallatin. I will never forget our first conversation in his office just last spring, in which he taught me about the history of this great institution and its record of unbounded creativity, ambition, and innovation. In the past year, I've had the honor to work with Andy and have benefited enormously from his guidance, his partnership, and his wisdom. Following this graduation season, President Hamilton will be stepping down from his role as university president to resume his research. Speaking both for Gallatin and for myself personally, let me say that he will be enormously missed. I once heard President Hamilton describe the role of university president as, quote, chief thanker and chief worrier. In my first year at Gallatin, I have come to see that these are admittedly important institutional roles. But Andy has spectacularly exceeded these categories in leading NYU to new heights of excellence. I ask you now to join me in welcoming to the podium NYU President Andrew Hamilton.
Dean Rosner, thank you for that introduction, and welcome to colleagues, family, friends, esteemed guests, and most of all, the outstanding, the amazing NYU Gallatin class of 2023. Congratulations to you all. My wife Jenny, who's in the audience somewhere, and I bring you greetings from all of New York University to this very, very special of afternoons. And let me thank all of the people who've made this afternoon possible, all of those who've helped with the organization of this event and indeed the Yankee Stadium event tomorrow. But I do want to point out to all of you that I was given the most important, the most difficult job of all in the planning for today and tomorrow. I was put in charge of the weather. And haven't I done a good job, everyone? Haven't I done a good job? Well, let me begin by congratulating Dean Rosner for a wonderful start to her tenure as Dean of NYU Gallatin. I am so proud of all that the Gallatin community is accomplishing under her leadership. Now, this is a wonderful week for us at NYU. I will be speaking at 18 different graduation events this week and next in Abu Dhabi and Shanghai next week as well. And here as I stand in this amazing theatre, the Beacon Theatre, so many great performances have taken place here, so many rock stars and rock bands, and I'm always tempted to channel one of those rocks, my inner Beyonce and my... But I decided that today, without question, the rock star that I'm channeling is Elton John. And why am I channeling Elton John? Well, Elton has an English accent, just like me. Elton's old, just like me. Elton's on a farewell tour, just like me, as you've heard from Dean Rosner. Elton is playing to packed crowds, just like me here at the Beacon Theatre. But I get to wear much more gorgeous gowns than Elton gets to wear, don't I? Well, enough of that. Let me say that this farewell tour gives me an opportunity to see all of NYU as it is in this summer of 2023. And in this last year that I will have, this last year I spend as president of NYU, I step down in the summer, later in the summer. It is the last time that I have the opportunity to address NYU graduates. But as I carry out this farewell tour, the one thing that is clear to me is that NYU's schools and NYU's graduates are thriving. Just look at NYU Gallatin. This is a school that boasts so many spectacular alumni. Christy Turlington Burns, founder and president of Every Mother Counts, was honored at the NYU Alumni Association Awards this year. It was the second year in a row. The wonderful André de Shields last year, a second year in a row that a Gallatin alumni has been recognized as one of NYU's great alumni. Paula Chakravarti has been named a James Weldon Johnson Professor, which recognizes NYU faculty whose scholarship impacts social justice, inequality, criminal justice reform, and many different areas. I had the great pleasure earlier this month to participate in a graduation ceremony at the Wallkill State Penitentiary at NYU's prison education program, where we celebrated the incarcerated men who had worked hard to achieve their associate's degrees. That is a program that has its heart and its origin in Gallatin, and we should be very proud. Let me also add that Associate Professor Michael Dinwiddie was honored this year with the 2023 Martin Luther King Jr. Humanitarian Award for embodying and exemplifying the characteristics promoted by Dr. King. There are so many highlights this year. I've just mentioned a few. NYU Gallatin has had a remarkable, a truly amazing year. But now we celebrate graduation. And at the heart of Gallatin, of course at the heart of graduation, is you, Gallatin students. Amid internships and studying away, you have continued to push boundaries in your coursework, shaping curricula to get to the heart of issues such as urban development and architecture, race and morbidity, or educational pedagogy, and many, many more. Now, in the world today, we hear a lot about divisions and divisiveness, but I look out at NYU Gallatin graduates and I see an antidote to division and divisiveness. When I look at NYU Gallatin, I see unity. You are united in your search for discovery and the way in which you approach the world's questions with creativity and with self-reflection. You are united in your desire to make a positive impact on the world. Now, as you graduate this afternoon, and then especially tomorrow afternoon, as you go out into the world, NYU Gallatin graduates, I know that you will draw on your inner talent, you will draw on your drive, but you will also draw on the strength of the Gallatin community to make a difference wherever that path in the next chapter of your life takes you. To each and every one of our graduating students today, know that you take the very best wishes from Jenny and me with you as you graduate, but you also take the pride of the entire NYU community with you. Gallatin class of 2023, congratulations to every one of you and best wishes. Well done.
Let me welcome you again and thank you for joining us on this splendid May Day, now we have learned, served up to us by President Hamilton, as we celebrate the achievements of the class of 2023 and welcome them to the proud ranks of Gallatin's illustrious alumni community. Class of 2023, today is all about you. But we all know that you might not be here today without the support of the people in this room here for you, who have been here for you over the course of your studies. So I invite you to stand, wave at those people who are here for you, and give them a round of applause and thank them for all that they've done for you. Well done. And now, if you would face the stage, I also want to give you the opportunity to thank the brilliant and passionate Gallatin faculty who have served as your dedicated professors and advisors, helping you to craft your concentration. And finally, let's thank Gallatin's administration, who created today's beautiful ceremony and who in many ways, seen and unseen, have made your time at Gallatin so robust and memorable. NYU Gallatin was born 51 years ago, the brainchild of a small group of dedicated faculty, one of whom you will hear from later in today's ceremony. These faculty had a vision that was extraordinarily prescient and that half a century later is actually more compelling than ever. Their vision was for a university without walls, as the school was then known. A school that offered its daring and creative students an opportunity that in many ways remains unique in the world of higher education. Rather than dutifully ticking off a list of curricular requirements to complete a preset educational program, students at Gallatin were invited to take a leap of faith. They accepted the much more difficult and compelling challenge of partnering with faculty to forge an education tailored to their interests and their commitments, an education as individual as the students themselves. To support them in this effort, the students were offered the unprecedented opportunity to take classes from across the entirety of NYU, the largest private university in the United States. They could combine art and science, math and music, marketing and astronomy. Over the intervening half-century, the scale of opportunity available at NYU Gallatin has only grown. The school now has an interdisciplinary faculty that embodies the power of scholarly rigor, public service, and abiding curiosity. True to the founders' commitment to do away with the isolation of the ivory tower, Gallatin offers students many ways to bridge theory and practice, from civic engagement to design and making, to study around the world, to internships, fieldwork, and so much more. Gallatin also offers students the opportunity, no matter what they study, to make meaningful connections with the arts. I like to say that Gallatin is liberal arts education 2.0 because of the way it enables students to make meaningful connections between university study and the real world by design. Listen to some of the concentrations that our 2023 Gallatin graduates have created, and you will hear how they are placing academic study in the service of making the world a better place. So here are a few examples, some of you out there. Didactic theater as a catalyst for public health transformation. Hello. Digital design and the human condition. Horror, perversion, and abjection in art and aesthetics. Sonic urbanism. Black political economy. Mathematics and constructivism for the 21st century. You need to hear about that. This is the cutting edge of liberal arts education as exemplified by you, the class of 2023. It is a practice of the liberal arts that I am thrilled to be part of, a practice that I think the world needs more of. It was breathed into life by the faculty founders of Gallatin, but it has been nurtured along the way by the school leadership, and for the past 15 years by my illustrious predecessor, the amazing Suzanne Wofford, who's with us here today. Gallatin, more than any school I have known in my long academic career, is a collaborative project. Our faculty serve as its stewards, wholly dedicated to its mission and its success. The Gallatin faculty are an unparalleled academic community, unconstrained by the usual academic taxonomies that have biologists talking only to other biologists, sociologists only to sociologists. At Gallatin, we routinely see collaboration across disciplines to the benefit of all. All of this is made possible by the energy, the ambition, and the just excellence of the Gallatin faculty, and I want to take a moment to acknowledge a few members in particular. Each year, the Gallatin Dean's Award for Excellence in Teaching is given to one full-time and two part-time faculty members to honor their work in the classroom and their contributions to the intellectual life of the school. Please join me in congratulating this year's recipients, who I would ask to rise when their names are called. Sid Chipola. Charles Gelman. And Ben Ratliff. As you all know, advising is also key to Gallatin's model and its mission. Our students' concentrations are forged through close working relationships between faculty advisors and their advisees. The Gallatin Advisor of Distinction Award celebrates the extraordinary contribution that Gallatin's part-time faculty members make to advancing the school's advising mission. Please join me in congratulating this year's recipient, William Caspery. Class of 2023, I am awed by you. I am awed by the concentrations you have imagined into being and labored to complete, but also awed by your very presence here today, knowing the obstacles that you faced on the road to graduation. Many, if not most, of the students we are celebrating today were at NYU in 2020, when spring break turned overnight into a pandemic lockdown, which turned, as we all know, into months of remote learning, isolation, constantly changing safety protocols, and personal and societal challenges on an unprecedented world scale. I am awed by the students here today who persevered through all of that and came out the other side. They responded to the emergency with compassion, care, and courage. They faced danger, loss, and uncertainty. They kept going. Class of 2023, I wish that the course of your studies could have been different, smoother, easier, just more normal. But I will never forget the way that you met with adversity and rose to the challenge. Your presence here today is a testament to your resilience and dedication, traits that will stand you in good stead for the rest of your lives. Class of 2023, today you join the ranks of the 12,000 people in the world who have had the honor and privilege to receive the unique benefit of a Gallatin education, an education designed to empower you to take initiative, to create, and to lead. These are skills that will carry you far. Gallatin has empowered you to think about who you are and what matters most to you, and then put that knowledge to work in planning your future. Here to welcome you into the alumni community today is Ilana Nathan, Gallatin alumna and vice president of the NYU Alumni Association. In a little while, as you graduate and walk across the stage, she will present you with an NYU alumni pin, which I hope you will wear with pride as a symbol of the new community you are joining today. Your old Gallatin community will also be here for you. We hope to see you back at Gallatin for school events, to make connections with current students, and more. We are always eager to hear news of your successes and the challenges that you face, and to celebrate and help you with both. Class of 2023, today your brilliance, your creativity, and your fortitude will be rewarded as you cross the stage and receive your hard-won degree. I celebrate all you have accomplished and really thank you for all you have done for our community. I now invite Associate Dean Alejandro Velasco, along with Natasha Walker, our school banner bearer, Radia Chardot, Gallatin's Bachelor of Arts representative, and Michaela Saminsky, our MA degree representative, to the podium. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dean Rosner. Welcome, everyone. How are you doing? Good afternoon, family and friends, and congratulations, graduates. It is my great pleasure to introduce 3 students whom the faculty has selected to represent you, the class of 2023, both here and at tomorrow's commencement exercises at Yankee Stadium. Now, please hold your applause until after I introduce all 3 honorees. Natasha Walker is this year's banner bearer, carrying Gallatin's banner and leading graduates in procession. An avid social justice advocate, Natasha's concentration is titled The Impact of System Racial Ideologies on Black African Americans, an analysis of healthcare and economic development in the United States. In her studies, she examines how race deeply shapes morbidity and mortality rates in the United States, and the ways that African Americans bear an especially high burden of poor health because of a long, widening racial gap. After graduation, Natasja plans to pursue her MPH with a concentration in health policy and management and epidemiology in the fall of 2023. Gallatin's Bachelor of Arts degree representative is a student selected by the faculty to recognize overall academic excellence and to represent the entire class of Bachelor of Arts degree recipients and candidates. Radia Sherdo, this year's BA representative, was born in Washington, D.C. and raised in Accra, Ghana, Laurel, Maryland, and Dallas, Texas. Radia's concentration focuses on social movement history and on how organized dissent intersects with public policy. Beyond the classroom, Radia has co-led NYU's first-generation low-income partnership, advocated for FGLI students to have more study-away opportunities, and spearheaded the first ever first-generation graduation at NYU just this past year. Radia is also an AAP Gallatin mentor for students of color, an NYU Ultimate Frisbee teammate, and a former Gallatin orientation leader. While studying away in Prague, Radia served as the Global Equity Fellow and Student Council President. Post-graduation, Radia will be studying Arabic in Amman, Jordan, as a CLS finalist and returning as an associate consultant at Bain & Company. Michaela Suminski is this year's Master of Arts degree representative, a student selected by the faculty for their overall academic excellence to represent the entire class of Master of Arts degree recipients and candidates at commencement. In her graduate studies at Gallatin, Michaela focused on critical disaster studies and documentary filmmaking. Her thesis, entitled Occupy Sandy, 10 Years After the Storm, focuses on Occupy Sandy, an anarchist mutual aid disaster relief effort organized by Occupy Wall Street veterans in New York City and beyond after Hurricane Sandy in 2012. For the project, Michaela conducted 28 in-depth interviews to build a publicly accessible oral history archive. She then turned those interviews into a feature-length documentary film, as well as an extensive research paper that explores the contours of mutual aid and collective memory. During her time at Gallatin, Michaela also proudly served as the graduate assistant for Stack Lab and as a shop steward in the Graduate Student Organizing Committee, UAW Local 2110. Please now join me in congratulating Natasja, Radia, and Michaela. I now welcome Professor Patrick McCreary back to the podium alongside Sami Tavasolia and Julia Rosen, who are our recipients of the Richard J. Copenal Award for Distinguished Interdisciplinary Study.
So hello again. And I would like to welcome Sami Tavasoli, if you want to wave, and Julia Rosen. These two wonderful students are recipients of the Richard J. Copenal Award for Distinguished Interdisciplinary Study, an award given by the Gallatin faculty to students whose interdisciplinary programs of study were especially exemplary. The Richard J. Copenal Award is named in honor of the school's second dean, who in 1994 led Gallatin's transition from a division of the university into the School of Individualized Study we are today. The recipients of the Copenal Award thus exemplify Dean Copenal's vision of Gallatin as a place of intellectual, artistic, and civic inquiry, experimentation, and boundary crossing. It is Gallatin's top academic award. So congratulations to both of you. and we wish you well in your futures. No, Victoria.
Let me also take this opportunity to recognize students who were either honored at a ceremony last night or who will be honored tomorrow evening for receiving Gallatin's Special Service Award, the Leo Bronstein Award, the Clyde Taylor Award for Distinguished Work in African American and Africana Studies, the E. Francis White Award, the Interdisciplinary Academic Excellence Award, and our new award this year after our dear colleague, the Rahul Hamid Award for Community Spirit. Awardees, please rise. Congratulations to you all. It is now my pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Arman Ahmed. From the time he was a child, Arman Ahmed's interests were unusually diverse. In the first grade, it was origami, and in succeeding years, yo-yoing, photography, and the saxophone. Right, thank you. Raised in Springfield, Ohio, he has always been, in a word, curious. Arman embraced the Gallatin process of ranging widely in his university studies in order to develop his concentration. And then his preparation took an unexpected turn. The search itself became his fascination. I first met Arman during my initial semester at Gallatin when he introduced himself as a Gallatin student for whom Gallatin itself was his object of study. As I came to know him, I came to really admire his combination of creativity, originality, curiosity, and rigor. I learned a great deal from our conversations about Gallatin and his perspective on what makes our school so special. Arman has also made extraordinary contributions to the Gallatin community as a participant in so many Gallatin events: the Gallatin Literacy Review, the Gallatin Review, Confluence, the Senior Symposium. In brief, he is someone who is likely to be on hand when anything great is happening at Gallatin. After graduating, Arman will pursue Stony Brook University's MA in Philosophy and Art. He aspires to be a writer, philosopher, photographer, and entrepreneur, which I like to call a lifelong Gallatin student. I think you will enjoy as much as I have learning about Gallatin through Arman's distinct perspective. Please join me in welcoming to the podium the NYU Gallatin 2023 student speaker, Arman Ahmed.
Just gonna take, there was no water in the room where we were just at. So really quickly before I start, I would just like to say thank you to all my family and my brother, who you can hear very loudly, and all of the amazing Gallatin professors that have helped me so much. Like all overconfident 12th graders, I thought I had it all planned. Thought that I could will the future like soft clay in my hands. The first step, an early decision application to George Washington University to study photojournalism. National Geographic was only a few years away, surely. Yet, 2 weeks before the deadline to apply to college, fate whispered in my ear. My mom, meandering the vast seas of pre-college parent advice Facebook, came across an interesting sounding school embedded in NYU called Gallatin. It promised academic freedom, promised not only to preserve my curiosity, but leverage it, promised I could study whatever I wanted. I decided to change my application and apply there instead. Or should I say, here? I wondered, though, had I already veered off the path before it had even started? Throughout the beginning of my time at Gallatin, searching for what it was I was inclined to investigate, something curious happened. In my search for an academic interest, the search itself held my fascination. Like so many Gallatin students, I began noticing my unrelated classes relating. At first, it seemed like a sort of magic. After all, I'd picked my classes with the same vague intuition I'd used to frame a scene to photograph. So how was it then that my sociology professor ended up in my art theory classes syllabus? How was it that my classes were converging into the same frame? From the outside, my transcript must have looked as varied as the course catalog itself. Volcanoes, the sublime and the scientific, how art works, understanding the universe, finance for social theorists, home economics, downtown music, feeling in theory. But Armand, they'd ask me, what are you going to do with all that? What's the through line here? What's the plan? I realized then that the through line was me. That this wasn't magic, but interdisciplinarity. That I could study the intersections themselves, study the experience of creativity. I began to realize that both Gallatin and creativity were like a particle accelerator. Different ideas smashing into each other to form novel elements previously unobserved. With each subsequent seemingly unrelated class, each detour from the path itself shifted. And it was these moments that truly formed me. It was when I learned that Einstein used mental visuals just like Picasso did. When I learned that volcanoes erupted with just as much force as Ornette Coleman's saxophone. When I learned of a 30,000-year-old cave painting in the south of France that demonstrated the same fundamental desire to create that Audre Lorde did 30,000 years later when she wrote, "Poetry is not a luxury." These were not detours. They were openings, windows into new futures. I read once in a Gallatin class a quote from the pre-Socratic philosopher Meno. It read, "How will you go about finding that thing, the nature of which is totally unknown to you?" I found mine by getting lost, and I couldn't have been more thankful. Reading the course book junior year, I stumbled across an interesting sounding class called Phenomenology and the Work of Art. It was the title of the class, though, and not its contents that initially caught my attention. I had no idea what this word phenomenology meant, nor was I confident in its correct pronunciation. It was simply 6 fun-sounding syllables. And yet, after I was completely transfixed, as though I'd been looking at life through a pane of tinted glass, now so much more transparent, saturated with colors I hadn't even known existed. I'd ask all of you, faculty and students alike, how was it that you found what it is you've chosen to study, chosen to do? Did you simply look at a list of disciplines, try each on like a pair of shoes, and then at last pick one particularly well-fitting one? For me, it was something closer to going off course by stumbling miraculously into it. Over the past 4 years, Gallatin has shown me that to be lost is not a state to fear, not a waste of time, but maybe the very thing worth striving for. Each successive change, each deviation, each detour was not a series of restarts, but a cumulative snowballing of experience and learning. The concentration, as we just heard, is maybe the best example. None of us could have planned where we are now, could have plotted it on some map, because of course, there is no map. To construct a plan for the future is to, in the very same act, throw out the rest. It is to look straight ahead with a horse blinder steadfastness. The just out of sight, the peripheral vision, is possibility itself. Earlier this semester, in the class, Cultural Critics on Looking and Living, taught by Ben Ratliff, I read Rebecca Solnit's book, A Field Guide to Getting Lost. It was like finding a long-lost key to a lock. She told me through the page, leave the door open for the unknown, the door into the dark. That's where the most important things come from, where you yourself came from, and where you will go. I wonder, are we not all, in some sense, the product of a great meander, an unending detour? There's a theory of creativity that holds that we are the most creative as children. Over time, though, we are slowly taught out of it via rules and norms, taught to stay on the path laid before us. The child has the greatest sense of openness to the world, sees it anew on a daily basis. This is what so many Gallatin classes inspired within me, to be just as curious and naive as when I was a first year, to see the world with so much wonder that a million paths surround me in every direction. Going forward, this is the gift of Gallatin that I will hold on to the closest. We all got here by getting lost, and look what we have found. To find oneself is to lose oneself, and to lose oneself is to find oneself. Thank you.
Bella Mirabella first joined the innovative undergraduate program then called the University Without Walls in 1981. And in 1994, when Gallatin officially became one of the schools of NYU, Professor Mirabella was one of the small group of faculty who were initially awarded tenure. She specializes in Renaissance studies with a focus on drama, theater, women, and sexual politics in the Middle Ages and Renaissance, and has edited many books and written many articles. Over the years, Professor Mirabella has brought great new strengths to Gallatin and to NYU. In 1987, she began teaching and directing Gallatin's Renaissance Humanities Seminar in Florence, Italy. NYU Florence was not founded until 1994. So Bella's early commitment to study away is especially noteworthy, and so is the fact that she has continued directing the program until the present day. She has received Gallatin's Advisor of Distinction Award, as well as NYU's Great Teacher Award. She has also upheld Gallatin's strength as a school for great teachers, spearheading Gallatin's teaching workshops and in her own classroom, turning ancient text into living works for the generations of students lucky enough to enter her classroom. This year, following over 40 years on the Gallatin faculty, Professor Mirabella is retiring from university life. And so I am delighted to welcome her to the stage to deliver the graduation faculty address.
It's wonderful to see you all. Congratulations to the class of 2023. At NYU, today, what I wanted to think about and consider was what an education means, what it might mean, and what it means at Gallatin. And what I've discovered in thinking about this is that an education encompasses a great many different facets and endeavors. In the Italian Renaissance, a period that I have studied and taught and for many, many years, for example, one looked at the past and studied the past, studied Muslim scholars from Persia and from Andalusian Spain, as well as the philosophy and the literature of ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans. Swordplay, you'll be happy to know. I mean, they studied many things, but they studied philosophy and literature and astronomy, for example. But swordplay for men was a very important aspect of an education. And for men and women, both dancing and singing was a very important aspect of what it meant to be well educated. And also, what was super important, and the thing I want to kind of focus on today, was it was very important to have very good manners. Yeah, really. And behaving well was a prominent idea in the Italian Renaissance, influenced by thinkers from the Middle East and from the medieval period. And it was so important to the Italians that they still, to this day, have a word for someone who has bad manners. So listen up. Make sure this doesn't happen. Never call this. It's someone who is mal educato, badly educated. Mal educato. If anyone ever says that to you, you know you're in trouble. Okay, so having bad manners could bring unpleasant consequences, as Giovanni della Casa warns in his 1550s book, Il Galateo, which is a wonderfully written and very interesting guide to how to behave and how to have very, very good manners. But he has a lot of warnings, and one of the warnings has to do with how you use your handkerchief. You will start to notice, perhaps, if you have not before, that when you go to the museum and you see paintings of men and women from this period, you will find that many times they have a handkerchief in their hands, and it really was the quintessential and perfect sign of having good manners, which is why they're holding their handkerchief. But Della Casa has a bit of a warning, he says. When you have blown your nose, do not open it and look into it. As if diamonds and jewels had fallen from your brain. So this may be a little bit more information than you want, but it makes a lot of sense. He has a lot to say about the handkerchief beyond just blowing your nose, so remember that. But for Della Casa, having good manners doesn't mean where you put the spoon on the table. It goes much beyond that. As rather it means being kind to and considerate of others. While it is hard for us, Della Casa says, to perform magnanimous feats every day, we're not able to do that. We don't have the opportunity, but we can have very good manners, and we can become ben educato by treating our brother and sister humans with dignity and respect. We will be welcomed, he says, into the human community, which is really the primary goal of an education and of life itself. I grew up in an Italian-American household, and we were always taught to be considerate, and of course we ate very well. But however, we only had 3 books in the house: The Count of Monte Cristo, The Scarlet Pimpernel, 2 of my father's most favorite books, and a dictionary. And while I dreamed of going to college, my parents, who had not finished high school, could not afford to send me to college. And when I asked about continuing my education, my mother, my very well-intentioned mother, said to me, "Girls don't go to college, they get married." So I was not really happy with this, but I wasn't didn't know what to do. But I did see my older sister, who wanted to go to the Parsons School of Design, that her dreams failed because my parents would not support her. So I decided that I would just have to do this on my own and work my way through college and graduate school with degrees in literature. I chose literature because at the time I thought this will make me a well-read and a well-educated woman, just like, in the line of Della Casa, really. But I didn't realize how transformative literature could be and would be for me. Literature, poems, novels, epics, plays, essays, from all eras, from all cultures, from all perspectives, whether it's Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes We're watching God. Sandra Cisneros, The House on Mango Street. Dante's Commedia. Sei Shonagan's Pillow Book from the year 1002. And Sei Shonagan is also a female author. Or Hamlet. Literature and the humanities really saved my life and led me to Gallatin. Literature, as Edward Said reminds us, takes us on an unsettling adventure in difference, alerting and linking us to our collective human history. Through the beauty of language, literature brings us together as we investigate the human mind and condition, and as we learn to know ourselves and others while contemplating the meaning of life. When I arrived at Gallatin, as Victoria has said, I was lucky enough to be one of the 5 founders. And when I consider these early educational ideas from the Renaissance, I see them at work here in Gallatin. Gallatin's emphasis on teaching, on mentorship, and on an interdisciplinary approach, and on the necessity of learning from the past. Our goal was and is to create a human community of scholars all working together. This is seen in the close relationship we have between teacher and student, which is crucial in our mentorship of students, and in the classroom. Advisement, as we know, is not just a signing off at every semester for a moment on the classes each term. It is rather a close relationship we have with our students and advisees, discussing their choices, their ideas for forming their education, and getting to know them well. Being a part of the human community is one of the blessings of Gallatin. With interdisciplinarity, we embrace the intentions and ideas of the Renaissance scholars, influenced as they were by the medieval and ancient tutors, emphasizing that no concept, no period, event, or person can be understood from only one perspective. For example, we cannot really understand Shakespeare until we know about the political, social, and gendered world in which he inhabited. We need to know, right, that England had already established its colonial empire in India in the year 1600. Shakespeare was born in 1554. And an early excursion into the slave trade started in the mid-1500s in England. While Shakespeare was, and it was growing, while Shakespeare was a superstar in London, and London was a hub of drama and literature, vibrant and spectacular. Shakespeare died in 1616, and by 1663, the English government and had established a transatlantic slave trade. This is all happening and many other things while Shakespeare is writing, so it's very important to know that. And because our classes are small, we are in the environment of close collaboration and discussion in which teachers are students and students are teachers. The Gallatin classroom is a learning community, and emulating the academies of the Italian Renaissance, where humanists gathered in small groups to read books and to discuss ideas, and I assume to also eat very well with wine and cheese and whatever else they could have. They had whimsical names like the intronati, the dazed ones, or I dubbiosi, the doubtful ones, or the doubters, to which the female poet, for example, Gaspara Stampa, belonged. As I asked my students, which they didn't always like, to put away their electronics so that we might be able to imagine and enter the past, so that we might be able to use the past to teach us about the present and to use the present to teach us about the past. So just like those in the Renaissance, we are always in a dialogue between what had come before the ancient world for them and what was happening right now. And when I am in this situation, I am thrilled and comforted by the fact that we are emulating one of those academies, respecting and learning from each other, discovering knowledge and understanding together while being part of the human community that Della Casa so highly, highly valued. I have touched on my journey, the journey I took to Gallatin and with my students, and what I have learned from them and my Gallatin colleagues has been a blessing that I will always treasure. You have all taken your individualized journeys, and now you are at the celebration of your educational discoveries and accomplishments. May what you have learned at Gallatin stay with you always and be your guide. I hope you will work for peace and justice, treasure and protect our environment, and make the world a better place. May you have the most successful lives, blessed with love and fulfilling work. And may you be stellar members of the human community. And of course, may you always have the best of manners. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bella. I'm sure you are feeling very proud that our next speaker is one of your very own Gallatin advisees. In a career spanning 55 years, Gallatin MA alumnus and Bella advisee André DeShields has distinguished himself as an unparalleled actor, dancer, choreographer, activist, educator, and philanthropist. He is a true living legend of the Broadway stage who made his debut in 1973 in Warp and 2 years later played the title role in The Wiz. I have a lot more. After choreographing 2 Bette Midler musicals, DeShields returned to Broadway to perform in the musical revue Ain't Misbehavin' in 1978. The original production ran for over 1,600 shows and earned DeShields many accolades and an Emmy Award. In 1984, I have to skip a little bit, DeShields wrote, choreographed, directed, and starred in André DeShields' Harlem Nocturne, a Broadway musical revue featuring standards from the American Songbook, pop hits from the early 1960s, and DeShields' own songs. In 2000, DeShields originated the role of Noah Horse T. Simmons in the musical adaptation of the film The Full Monty. Mr. DeShields has played more parts and garnered more awards than I can list, but I have to mention his astonishing performance as Hermes, messenger to the gods, in the musical Hadestown, which opened in 2019. For this performance, Mr. DeShields was awarded the Tony, Outer Critics Circle, Drama Desk, and Grammy Awards. Just recently, you may have had the pleasure, as I did, of seeing him on Broadway in the role of Ben Lomond, Willie Loman's fantasized, successful older brother in Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman. For André DeShields, being an artist means using entertainment to educate and elevate society. He has been a longtime spokesperson for people living with HIV and AIDS, as well as LGBTQ+ communities. He recently received the Howard Ashman Award from GMHC, Gay Men's Health Crisis, for his advocacy and activism. In his acknowledgement at the ceremony, André told the audience that, quote, "Arts and activism go together like Granny Smith apples and cheddar cheese," a sentiment that I think resonates very deeply with our mission at Gallatin. André, as President Hamilton said, also received the 2022 University-wide Distinguished Alumni Award. He has returned to Gallatin as a faculty member, offering courses that include extreme performance from ancient Africa to postmodern America. I met André DeShields for the first time this fall when I came to Gallatin, and I have come to know him as someone whose life and career profoundly convey the meaning of a Gallatin education, embodying excellence, creativity, and commitment. I quickly came to the realization that he was the right person, the best person, to inspire you, the class of 2023, on this most important day in your lives. And so it is my pleasure to introduce our 2023 NYU Gallatin keynote speaker, André DeShields.
Good afternoon, my gorgeous siblings. Yes, 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 I'm old enough to be your grandfather. However, I consider you my brothers and sisters because that's what destiny dictates, along with your radiant new dean, Victoria Rosner. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the Gallatin School of Individualized Study, which many people refer to as a university without walls. That's the metaphorical statement. But when you attend Gallatin and actually understand that your university education is indeed minus walls, you begin to think, well, what am I going to do now? I've always threatened that I'm going to work outside of the box. Well, that's what the Gallatin School does. It gets rid of the box because it is more than just an institution where you achieve freedom. It is an institution where if you are the salt that you are made of, you achieve authenticity. Now, when you finally take off your gowns and your mortar boards, and you put your sheepskin framed up on the wall, then you begin to test the education that you received at Gallatin. Because you will, as I am experiencing this very moment, you will experience the beginning of your recovery. I'm an actor-activist. I am recovering actor-activist. I highlight that because I ended up at Gallatin at a time in my life and career that I was so in need of recovery. I came to the fork in the road, and I didn't know what to do. My North Star became the distinguished professor, Michael Dinwiddie. We've been colleagues for many years. We go way back. And when I expressed my ambivalence to him about continuing my education while being a Broadway celebrity, he said to me, André, I know just the place you want to attend, Gallatin School of Individualized Study. When I did indeed enroll, my advisor became the inimitable she became my spine. Barra Miller Bella said to me when I revealed that I was going to take a full course and continue to do 8 shows a week on Broadway, she said, you can't do it. I said, watch me. She responded, no, I'm not going to watch you, I'm going to help you. I learned then what I'm going to share with you right now. Maybe a few of you haven't realized it yet. There is no one like you. There has never been anyone like you. And there shall never be anyone like you. So know yourself. Be yourself. We talk about struggle and adversity and divisiveness. But there are still horizons in this world that have yet to be discovered. And that's what you are about to do. There are still mysteries in this world that still have not been decoded. That is what you are going to do. There is joy in this world that still has not been experienced. That's the gift you're going to bring into the world. I'm reminded of 3 prophets from the 70s. Joni Mitchell, she said, "We are stardust, we are golden, we are 100 years old carbon, and we have to get ourselves back to the garden." For however many years you've spent pursuing your education at the Gallatin School of Individualized Study, you have started your path back to the garden. The second prophet I want to quote is Mick Jagger, who said, "You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometime, you just might find you get what you need." That's what Gallatin School of Individualized Study is all about. And the third prophet from the 70s I'd like to quote is Freddie Mercury. "Because you are the champions." Okay? Did Hamilton leave? Oh, he did. Because he was talking about his beautiful robe and Elton John's robes. I just wanted him to see this robe. When I was told you had to wear regalia, I said, "I got some regalia for you." I recovered, and I continued my career as a performer. And I discovered during that recovery that you do not become your authentic self until you understand that whatever profession it is that you pursue, it is not complete until you add to it the element of activism. Doesn't mean you have to go out into the street and carry a protest sign. But what it does mean is that your gift to the world has to be advocacy. Wherever you see that there is something incomplete, complete it. When you meet someone who is incomplete, help to complete that individual. When you go to the mirror and the person looking back at you appears to be incomplete, this is what you must say to that person looking back at you. I will never forsake you. I will always love you. I will do with you what the spring does to the cherry trees. And what does the spring do to the cherry trees? Blossom, flower, flourish. Fill intimate spaces with enormous beauty. That's your purpose in life. If you've ever wondered why, the 5 questions, if you've ever wondered about them, I know you have. Who, what, where, when, why? The answer is beauty. How do you do that? You put to work the lesson that you learned at the Gallatin School of Individualized Study. I'm going to articulate it for you right now. When you get your diploma, look on the flip side. And this is what's written on the flip side of your diploma. If you believe within your heart, you know that no one can change the path that you must go. Believe what you feel and know you're right, because the time will come around when you say it's yours. Believe there's a reason to be. Believe you can make time stand still. And know from the moment you try, if you believe, I know you will. Believe in yourself right from the start. Believe in the magic inside your heart. Believe all these things, not because I told you to, but believe in yourself. You must believe in yourself. Please believe in yourself as Gallatin believes in you.
And we're going to graduate today.
So after that, thank you so much, André. At this time, we are pleased to welcome the Master of Arts candidates present here today. In this ceremony, graduates will receive congratulations from the Dean for their achievements. Ilana Nathan, a Gallatin BA alum from 1994 and Vice President of the NYU Alumni Association, will also welcome today's graduates into the NYU community, alumni community. So at this time, would MA graduates and candidates for graduation please come forward and assemble at the right, so your right, of the auditorium. Please follow the instructions of the Gallatin representatives who will assist you.
Michaela Sominski. Stephanie Fisher. Polly Jacobs. Asia Turkiye. Mashael Al-Sai. Kiara Berra. Christine Thomas. Yashwini Krishnan. Fia Putri. Lu Zhongyang. Fian Fong. Gabriela Macias. Samara Alatas. Dylan Maure Torres. Eric Meyer. Kat Scott. Abby Palfreyman. Martine Duffy. Juana Urea. Charlie Fritzner. Jennifer Lee. Mengyoung Jung. Tom Miller.
Alexandra Boone.
Kira Williams. Ayuba Thomas. Cambria Kelly. Hakeem Watson. Rachel Friedman. Katie Mendez. Macarena Ramos Hernandez. Nessie Navarro. Caitlin Davis. Ben Fears. Julianne Mason. Paris Marcel. Margaret Hall. Dara Epstein. Shannon Gaffney. Holly Melissa Seafelt. Alexis Sharp.
Congratulations to the Masters of Arts graduates. Now let's welcome Gallatin's Bachelor of Arts candidates present here today.
Olive Forgash. Julia Eckert. Anna Maitland. Viola Hutchinson. Sophie Jordan Blaisdell. Eli Stokin. Lux Magnus Blum. Madeline Favia Erickson. Annalise Lacco. Corinne Petruzzi. André Stoika. Tian Hui Ying. Saskia Ango. Latisa Kamdani. Alexandra Benzine. Alyssa Hanna. Jonathan Perez Vento. Olivia Epley. Lydia Pamuji. Dylan Prince. Sasha Rose Cohen. Ana Luisa Cubas. Spencer Noblock. Alyssa Loney. Ruth Micha. Eden Taff. Chloe Kohlhaas. Sophie Wilkes. Charlie Sands. Gabriella Walker. Julia Spagnardi. Sam Smith. David Hoffman. Paulina Hernandez. Ellington Bland. Nina Shotland. Ella Fuchsberg. Ava Finger. Shira Golan. Emma Bailey. Candice Emrani. Nick Gordon. Kai Thompson. Jesse Chen. Lorenzo Fisher Marcondes Ferraz. Tommy Guilfoyle. Leanna Rutt. Juliana Diaz-Peta. Valentina Arrieta. Quan Lei. Luis Diaz. Declan Dwyer. Gabrielle Parras. Geneva Tenney. Katie Shue. Amber Alasawi. Gia Cruz. Sterling McCran. Maya Faver. Lauren Marcolis. Nusrath Kasham. Lagane Fede. Kylie Quist. Gia Walcott. Ming Lee Simmons. Jeremy Kasdan. Joseph Redmond. Ella Jane Solomon. Misha Hall. Marsden Francis. Atensa Prempe. Danny Segal. Natasha Jordan. Oluwatoyosi Odushala. Alex. Emma Ivy. Alba Quintero Retis. Alex Smythe. Maxwell Glenn. Maxwell Guy. Ruanzi Shu. Brenna Lipsit. Alexandra Skora. Moriah Riebman. Marina Karlstrom. Jules Erdem. Marina Pavancelli. Florence Kim. Sam Coleman. Sheridan Smith. Cameron Saltzman. Katie Vaughn. Eli Banchik. Ama Sarpoma. India Jackson. Alexa Marika Kirby. Sophia Moran. Nicole Alesso. Clara Ramon. Ava Spinner. Natanya Ron. Doreen Litvak. Nicholas King Friedel. Reed Sherman. Kevin Shah. Louis Kai. Morris Mamie. Veronica Liao. Alice Kim. Alacia Reep. Judah Del Rio. Hannah Triboulet. Anastasia Tambour. Gabrielle Sadanoff. Aiden York. Nick Motley. Dina Safina. Ayla Potomkin. Oliver Chasson. Kalia Mchawi. Harley Frechette. Julian Otis. Campbell Munn. Abi Abudu. Alicia Deer. Annabelle Dinda. Susie Pan. Min Suk Kim. Maggie Y. Liam de Beaufort Flores. Serena Chan. Jay Eisenstadt. Sawyer Wolf. Tina Sun. Charlie Tiberio. Tulin Hamdan. Amber Kepke. Veronica Sanchez. Maya McDonald. Graciela Blandon. Wenty Cambor. Ki Ong Nguyen. Zejun Allen Yuen. Izzy Burns. Asia Sampson. Camila Brooks. Nina Lane. Lucas Vasquez. Jason Gordon. Alicia Garfield. Mariana Braga. Erica Warner. Pilar Cerón. Kaden Santos. Emily Meyer. Jessica Menick. Charlotte Dean. Marta Malinowska. Ben Kubani. Margaret Emma Gray. Isabel Farrell. May May Dillon. Marlo Rimilovsky. Brenda Liang. Claire Lamentia. Lauren Tresser. Dahlia Morell. David Kim. Angel Suero. Ethan Saffold. Ryan Walker. Katie McIntosh. Jackson Beer. Rebecca Kaufman. Fran Janelle. Aaliyah Tischler. Erica Mason Barrett. Reina Ikanishi. Surabhi Raj. Nareet Schwartz. Mary Benning Cannon. Maya Ribeiro. Natalie Teresa Orth. Ashley Hurst. Trinity Garlick. Aditya Vijayathavar. Charlie Besso. Lydia Eberling. Jackson Ross. Jack Herman. Claudia Azalde. Jake Jeter. Shelby Dwyer. Jane Wren. Grace Gardiner. Morgan Pryor. Samantha Molina. Maggie Stutz. Jonathan Lefebvre. Mireya Caldero. Claire Jones. Michelle Capone. Julia Nee. Jerry Morales Farfan. Yiva Mitrofanska. James Cho. Diana Hamblin. Alex Berman Marshall. Natalie Wenwen Krauskopf. Grayson Marlowe. Alyssa Barone. Adina Hill. Ruthie Steele Hernandez. Sam McCann. Mia Dooley. Anna Lauren Hanhausen. Kaya Sorensen Jarrett. Liv Walker. Ruth Hunter. Kate Levin. John Holmes. Megan Higley. Maria Clara Ribeiro. Lena Tatum. Hannah Waller. Jamie Ellen. Kalana Pungwong Bradford. Ava Bodhi. Victor Pang.
Justin Seong-on Park.
Gideon Goldhagen. Max Repass. Bowman An. Connor Sovak. Cora Quintana. Ella Kozlowski. Charlie Xiang. Najal Judd. Katie Wilson. Katie Lamb. Natasha Sum. Mia Nguyen. Gabriella Cagle. Wenqi Jia. Jun Zhou. Christina Hua. Karis Diamond. Valeria Cuervo. Mahmoud Moanis Mahmoud Mohammed Mardi. Leah Lee. Marilia Sangali Bertolo. Carly Harrison. Will Kallmeyer. April Zhao. Charlene Chen. Wendy Lin. Alexander Rose.
Casey Levy.
Kayla Rousselette. Athena Hasiotis. Ella Fry. Bella Carino. Donita Mekai. Artie Mary. Tara Padias. Cameron Centrella. Brian Chavez Gonzalez. Akil Howell. Elizabeth Mathias. Natalie Bray. Kira Lynch. Naomi Tompkins. Jasmine Cheek. Anna Levitt. Abney Turner. Kan Ho. Anusha Agarwal. Catherine Yin. Nicole and Elise Show. Kendall Lee. Cindy Wan. Misa Yamaoka. Annie Swanson. Christine Diaz. Victoria Medaz. Nina Osoria Amadi. Nicole Myers. Jessica Abigail Figueroa. Melanie Canella. Joyce Matos. Ava Marshall. Mariama Khadija Fadika. Iman Yusuf. Nunyala Sogbo. Madison Conliffe. Jack Byrne. Jack Posner. James Pierce. Sebastian Cañero Lebrija. Sinjin Mendenhall. Josie Schneider. Cassie Dula. Marina Mendoza. Mia Perez. Katie Short. Ruth Thombe. Samara Connery. James Liu. Casey Gentry. Lily O'Brien. Ruby Llewellyn. Ava Johnson. Pia Parekh. Veronica Late. Maya Marara. Ayana Laparolari. Michelle Joe.
Nikki Mondazir.
Chad Evans. J-Rod Nelson. Isha Mogo. Danielle Benjamin. Dean Durkin. Yui Chu. Elizabeth Plummer. Elena Weitzner. Trix Willems. Jared Scoro. Yasmin Garay. Arabelle Ishaku. Alexa Kerner. Anna Captain. Kari Johnson. Tia Johnson. Kushagar Magu. Taylor Murphy. Lucy McFadden. Carly Grossman. Jonathan Gringaus. Claudia Chiosone. Camila Perez. Ryan DeLuel. Ashley Kale. Sera Lizarazu. Alex Martha. Catherine Rich. Alexa Stiegler. Sarah Levine. Jasper Conacher. Bree Gross. Mira Fink. Chase Richter. Tomer Tenengauser. Charlie Olson. Ryan Olson. Tessa Lewis. XY Joe. Sarika Dapalapudi. Eva Bruckner. Ethan Jordan Wade Johnson.
That's right.
Alberto Arevalo. Catherine Vucetich. Mia Gradelski. Anya Shah. Gabrielle Barros Vardanega. Fatima Rahim. Zach Geinzer. Garrett Higgins. Hao Tian Wang. Abby Whelan. Teo Vendoselaire. Robinson Brown. Ken Ezeadiugwu. Anito Enirio Akwete. Liam Rooney. Katie Demas. Emily Lomberg. Ava Anderson. Liban Ahmed. Livia Blum. Laura John. Achilleus of Greece. Isabella Massenet. Amalia Schliemann.
Laura Lou Fituzzi.
Raymond Law. Sammy Tavasoli. Julia Rosen. Natassia Walker. Radia Shardo. Arman Ahmed.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to the 432 students who walked across the stage today.
I really want to thank everyone for being part of our great celebration of Gallatin today. I want to thank all of our speakers, our faculty, and most of all, one more time for the class of 2023. All right, I would ask that if you are not a graduate, you remain seated for the graduation recessional. The graduates will exit first. And let me leave you with one final congratulations.